Alright, good afternoon one and all. Welcome to the video. This is a first video. There is an introduction part on getting started with writing serverless API with Python, Boto 3, AWS Lambda and API Gateway. You heard it correct. So we are going to use all of these technologies and build a state-of-the-art serverless API, deploy it on AWS and use it of course. So in this course, I'm going to be walking you right from scratch, right from beginning. I do assume you have a little bit knowledge about AWS, right? So I'm going to be showing you how to create a simple Lambda. Then we'll learn how to integrate that Lambda with API Gateway. Then we'll learn basically how to make CRUD requests like get, post, and delete, stuff like that. Once we've done that, we'll learn how to accept body parameters. We'll learn how to accept query parameters through API Gateway. How to add validation on the basically on the query parameters. We'll also so basically AWS also supports velocity templating. So we'll write some code that will extract data from our query parameters so we can use it on the Lambda. For all of the things, we are going to use Python as our base programming language. And at the end of this tutorial series, that is after like 3 to 4 videos, we'll create a simple API which will accept basically a text. We'll be using Amazon AWS Comprehend, which will do natural language processing and tell you how negative, positive, or what basically tell you the sentiment of that text. And everything would be a serverless API, and we'll be deploying that on AWS. I hope you are excited, and even I am very excited. All right, so I am Saumil Shah. I'm a full stack software engineer, and I'm very excited to teach you about all of these upcoming new technologies in my videos. So this is just an introduction video. So let us get started with this. Let us create a very basic Lambda function and basically then link this to a API gateway, right? So let's do that. I already have some couple of Lambda functions, but I'm going to create it right from scratch, right? So let me go to my management console. My computer is sometimes a little bit slow, but it's fine. So right now, yeah, I'm on my AWS management console. I can go. So what I ideally do, guys, and I would recommend you to do, open 3 tabs, okay? The first tab, API Gateway, CloudWatch, Lambda, and DynamoDB. Later on, I'm going to teach you to make like a REST APIs, which will be deployed on AWS for DynamoDB, right? So go to the Lambda section, guys, right here. As I said, I'll be using Python, and please make sure you have an IntelliJ IDE, any kind of IDE, because it's better to code on the IDE, I feel, rather than what AWS provides. So I'm gonna click on create function, right? And I'm gonna say my YouTube get. So it's gonna basically a get function, right? Of course, I'm gonna use Python. Remember, guys, I also taught you how to upload a custom deployment package of basically a custom Lambda function on an S3 bucket and use that on my last video. If you haven't watched, please make sure to watch that, and make sure to click on the create functions right there. Right, so it's gonna take a time. It's gonna take like about a minute, I think. All right, so there we go. So the very first thing that you want to do is basically just click on the test button. Just say the name of the event as foo. Click on create, because we want to make sure that we have a cloud on the cloud watch. We want to see whether this is coming. So you should see hello world, and let's check on the cloud watch. So I go to the cloud watch. On the left hand side, I'm gonna go to the log groups. So right here, that's the log group, and I'm gonna search for my log group name. Remember, we gave it as my YouTube get. So this is where you can check your log. So here you can see the Lambda was executed, the start time, the end time, right? So duration was 1.19 milliseconds, right? Cool. So we just made our very first Lambda function. Now let us make an API gateway. So remember, we opened an API gateway through the management console. Fire up your API gateway. I'm gonna go to the main page and I'm gonna show you how it actually looks like. Otherwise you'll be confused again, right? API gateway. Alright, so I'm gonna click on the create API. And we are gonna use the REST API, but I'm also gonna teach you the WebSocket later on for chat application. So let's go on the REST API and click on the build option right there. Once you have the build option, you want to click on the new API, and I'm going to say YouTube my, remember no spaces. Alright, so the description has been given. Click on the create API. So I'm gonna walk you through this. A lot of people might get a little bit afraid looking at this, but I'm gonna try my best to do that, like explain you everything. So right here we have the action tab. We can see we have option of deploy API, import APIs, delete API if you want to delete it. We can create endpoints, we can create methods, we can enable cores if you want, create resources. So this is the resources. Currently we are in the resources. The stages is basically when you deploy your API, let's say dev stage, prod stage. That's where all the staging comes from. Authorization, you can do that. Gateway responses, models, resource policy, documentation if you want to provide documentation, API keys, client certificate, VPC links and settings, right? So these are all some of the options that you get on the left hand side. Let's create a very basic get request. So click on the button which says I usually like to make my videos a very, so this is much better, right? So what we want to do is basically we want to click on create method. Oops. Hopefully this is better. Now what we want to do is we want to click on the get request and we want to click on this button right there. So if you observe carefully, so if you see the API has been created, right? So here you can see we have the API. Now, what you want to do is basically you want to click on the Lambda function. Make sure it's US East 1. I'm using US East 1. Make sure whatever you are using. Now, remember we gave some name to that Lambda. What was that? So if you see, it was my YouTube get. Automatically it comes, right? Now, let's click on the save button. Now your Lambda is being saved. So here you can see, it's asking me you are giving an API gateway permission to invoke your Lambda. Say say OK. Right there. Let me just exit the magnifier. It's pretty annoying. Alright. So here you can see the API has been created. Now if I click on the, give it a second. So this is the main route that's called as a home route. This is the get request on my anyone who does HTTP call on my home route, it's gonna give some result. So here you can see these are, okay, what is this? First of all, people will say, hey, what the hell is this? Okay, this is a client which is basically gonna make a request on an endpoint. And when you do that endpoint, you're gonna basically trigger something like Lambda functions or some endpoints. This will trigger an integration where we can write velocity templating, where we can extract some data or do some kind of like data stuff. It's gonna go to the Lambda, process the data, and return back to the client. So we need to do, so we have, remember if you click on the method, we have already configured the Lambda. Remember we selected that Lambda YouTube get, right? So let me go back here on the home route. Let me show you to test it and then we'll deploy it. So I'm gonna click on the test button right here and click on this button test. And here you can see hello Lambda, right? Now let's deploy. So we're gonna click on the actions. And there should be an option for deploy API. I'm gonna select a new stage. I'm gonna deploy it as a dev. Stage description. This is this API is in. All right. That's all fine. Deploy. So now it's gonna deploy on AWS. So now you can see invocation URL. Copy that. Go to Postman. Oops, I don't want to do that. It's gonna open a new tab right there. Paste it, make sure it's a GET request. Make sure you do a send. And you should see hello from Lambda. Hey, congratulations guys, you did it. I mean, you just made an API, you just made a GET request, you made a request basically, and it's triggering your Lambda and you're getting the data back through Postman. Congratulations. Well, now you can pretty much do anything. Let's say you want to invoke this through a Python code. If you want the code, Python, request, copy the code, use it. See how easy it is, guys? Right, you are right. It's pretty easy, right? So don't worry, guys. Now we'll learn how to send a query parameters, that is body, we learn how to send body like a raw JSON. Then we learn how to send query parameters, add some kind of authorization. That's in the part 2, by the way. So hope you have enjoyed part 1. If so, do give a like on this video, and if you have any more questions, please list your questions in the comment section below. And as usual, thank you for your love, support, and see you guys in the part 2, where we would be learning how to add query parameters in this. So that's it for this video. See you in the next video, that is part 2.